Today, President Trump tweeted Michael Cohen pled guilty to 2 counts of campaign finance violations that are not a crime. President Obama had a big campaign finance violation, and it was easily settled. Throwing in Obama there again. During an interview with Fox, he seemed to confess to campaign violation while trying to deny it. Let's watch his mixed-up argument here. This is Rudy.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on. But you have to understand, Ainsley, what he did. And they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments. But they didn't come out of campaign. In fact, my first question when I heard about it was, did they come out of the campaign? Because that could be a little dicey. And they didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big. But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation.
Barbara, this is backing and filming, but to get to the president's defense, he's saying basically, this is under Buckley-Valeo, the idea that, you know, ultimately a person who's rich can buy all they want in campaign advertising, whatever they want. That's the way it works with our Rockefeller system. But Trump seems to be saying, as long as I ultimately paid the $130 for Stormy Daniels, the $150 for Karen McDougal, if I was the ultimate payee, no matter what was the paperwork problem, I'm not guilty of any serious crime. Is he right or wrong?
No, he's wrong. Buckley v. Valeo and other campaign finance cases divide the world of campaign finance into expenditures and contributions. President Trump is focusing on expenditures. He's focusing on expenditures. The charges in the document that Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to relate to contributions. And Buckley v. Valeo upheld limits on contributions. There are 2 charges. One, that Michael Cohen exceeded the limit.
No, there's no
and
limit on a candidate spending how much they want to spend.
But it was Michael Cohen's.
There's no constitutional limit on that, Barbara. Any candidate who wants to spend all they want for their campaign for office, they can do that, right?
Sure, but they still have to disclose it on their documents if they're doing that. The bigger picture
here is a disclosure issue only? That's what I'm trying to get to. Is this Dershowitz and others are saying this is not a felony situation. This is a paperwork issue. It's technical. But as long as it's you ultimately paying constitutionally, you're entitled to spend all you want on your own campaign. That's their argument. What do you make of it?
You have to disclose who made the payment. And 2, you look at motive and intent in a case like this. The intent here was not, as in the Obama situation, a clerical error, failure to file paperwork on time in a timely manner. This was an intent to mislead by hiding the nature of the payment. And so this is the kind of case that gets prosecuted.
Robert, I would think that this president would argue, and I think he is arguing there with the Fox reporter there in the outside the Oval Office there, on the little sun deck there. I can defend his argument will be the ultimate Buckley-Valeo argument, which is you can spend all of your own money, and maybe there's a paperwork problem on the pass-through, but it was my money and it's legal. It's constitutional. Isn't that his argument now? I thought I heard it.
That is the argument. The challenge they're going to face, Chris, is that
what's the president's thinking here?
The president's thinking is, having talked to Giuliani and White House officials today, that he can try to shrug this off legally, politically, as something that's not a campaign violation. But they face the challenge that Cohen has already admitted in court, in federal court on Tuesday, that he did commit a violation, that he did break the law, pled guilty. And so that's the reality. And then there's the argument they make.
Well, if the president's lawyer admits the guilt of a felony, a couple of them, in fact, for the 130 and 150, admits it was really a campaign expenditure and it wasn't filed properly, it was concealment. Are they saying that makes the client guilty if the lawyer says he's guilty?
They're going to really mount a credibility war against Cohen in the coming weeks. Pay attention to that, because Giuliani's saying he's going to call on Cohen to release all the tapes Cohen had in conversations with reporters, private exchanges, to try to see if Cohen said anything that goes against what he just pled guilty to.
Let me go to Seth on this legal question. What do you make of what I was just talking about with Barbara? How guilty is is it a paperwork issue, or did he really commit a felony, a serious felony here?
Yeah, I think there's a basis for a serious felony. The campaign finance law determines criminality at the moment of the contribution. So when Michael Cohen makes that contribution, that's the crime at that moment. If you were to allow candidates to then backfill or, remedy the problem after the fact, then you could basically upend all of campaign finance law by just saying, saying, oh, my corporation did it, or that was an over limit. That was just really my own personal.
Don't you have to argue the intention there?
Yes.
That Cohen was intending to pay for that money and not get the money from Trump.
Yeah, and he's saying that. He's admitting under oath
that it was his payment.
Correct.
And he procured another payment from a corporation, which is illegal. That was the second charge. And although Trump says, I knew about it after the fact, we know from the tapes that he knew about it contemporaneously or before. So if it was all legal, if you could do this, why was he having money paid from AMI? Why was he having his lawyer pay it? Why did they set up a dummy company? If it was all perfectly legal, he should have just paid the money.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.